This is a quick and easy guide on how to mod Dragon Quest XI, the Definitive Edition, on Steam. So normally you have two choices. You can either use a mod manager or you can manually download your mods yourself. Normally I recommend using Nexus because it's just sort of a plug and play, download, and you're good to go system. But in this situation, it's very easy to manually mod your Dragon Quest game. Nexus literally just does exactly what you would normally do with your downloads. It literally just downloads the mods and puts them in the folder that you would manually be setting. So it's really not too hard to manually download these mods and set it up yourself if you don't want to use Nexus. But I'm going to show you how kind of both ways. So if you want to do it in Nexus, simply go to Games, type in Dragon Quest in the search bar here. It should pop up. You can click the little check mark that says Activate. And as long as you have it downloaded in Steam, it should find your location pretty quickly. If not, you can hit the three dots here, go to Manually Set Location, and it's under your Steam apps under Common. If you'd like to manually download your mods, you can come and pick a mod here, and they basically all download the same way that I've seen. You extract the file, and you copy the .pack file into the content file right here. So you go to your Steam apps, Common, Dragon Quest, go to the game, go to the content, and then go to packs. So it's pretty much the same place that you're going to go for Nexus, and it's the same place that Steam will actually bring you to find the game. So it's under content, under packs, and then you download the PAK file right in here. Vortex does the exact same thing when you download it through Vortex. It literally just copy and pastes the files into this folder. There's nothing else you need to do for mods other than put these files in. This Vortex file is just a deployment file that it adds in. And it's pretty quick, it's pretty easy, and it'll show here as well. Vortex just makes it nice. You can check for updates, things like that. So quick and easy downloading for mods with Dragon Quest XI. Second half of this video, I want to tell you kind of the main reason why you would even want to mod this game, and that's going to be Project Rebuild. So kind of a long story here, but there's three versions of Dragon Quest XI. There's the original non-definitive edition that came out on Steam. I think it came out on console too. And that was built for PCs and then ported to consoles. So it was built on what you would call next-gen hardware, right? That's what how the game was made. Visually, gameplay-wise, performance-wise. It was made for next-gen hardware. So sometime later, they ported the game to Switch. They released a bunch of DLC, they ported the game to Switch, and they said, well, we might as well make a definitive edition with all the DLC included, and we're going to port it to the Switch. Everybody knows, when you port something from modern-day hardware to the Switch, you have to basically rebuild the game, because the Switch hardware is so bad, it's practically a PS2. That being said, for some weird reason, when they decided to port Dragon Quest to the Switch, they rebuilt the game so that it would run on lower hardware specs, and they released it as the definitive edition. Well, everybody who's playing on Steam and on console wants the definitive edition, right? So what did they decide to do? Instead of just making a definitive edition of the original game, they reported the Switch version to PC as the definitive edition. And the problem with that is, the gameplay runs worse. The graphics look significantly worse. The frame rate is significantly worse. So you're basically playing a Switch game that was ported to Steam or Xbox or PS5, and you're getting an inferior version of the game, which is just mind-blowing to me. I've never seen any developer do this ever. After tireless years of work, modders came in and basically, using mods, rebuilt the game visually and performance-wise to the way that the performance was on the non-definitive edition, the Steam version specifically, of the game. And they did that with 3 different mods. And these are very large mods, I'd like to add. I think these mods are like 20 gigs each or something like that. Very large mods. And it was called Project Rebuild. These are the 3 most popular mods, and basically the only major mods for this game. So they did them separately. So they did the player character models updates, they did the NPC character model updates, and then they did monsters, animals, and mounts. And I'm pretty positive they greatly recommend you download all 3 of these mods, or you may run into some issues. There's actually a 4th one here. It is called Equipment with the Project Rebuild. So you've got character models, NPC character models, monsters, animals, and mounts, and equipment, aka weapons. So here's a good example of, the base game vanilla item versus a modded item. And it's pretty obvious, there's some pretty major changes to some of these things. A lot of the other mods within Project Rebuild for some of the characters, the changes are really minor. It's nothing major. You'd have to look in through a microscope. But I think the equipment probably has some of the biggest changes and some of the most notable fixes. Performance-wise, visual-wise, it's just everything looks sharper. Everything looks cleaner. The colors look a little bit more realistic. You can even see with the hand here, the difference is pretty massive. So I greatly recommend downloading all 4 of the Project Rebuild mods. It really is the way the game was meant to be played. And, it's a large download. It's probably going to take a while, even on modern, fast internet. But, it's a full visual overhaul of how the game was from the beginning. So, greatly recommend Project Rebuild for Dragon Quest XI. There's really not a ton of other mods out there. It's mostly just like cutscene skipping and, rare drops, things like that. I hope you enjoyed learning how to mod Dragon Quest XI. Very simple and easy game to mod. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.